Don't you know that the music should be solemn?
It's happening.
Are we
It's
live?
all happening.
Is
We're
it
live.
Is it Wednesday? Do you have white teeth? Are you still a sexy boy? Are you still younger than me? Look at you. Did you just finish jogging this morning up there in Canada?
I went for a very fast run because we're shooting nights. So I've adjusted my schedule. You've shot nights before. You don't like doing that.
No.
You have to adjust your schedule because I'm still here.
Your whole body doesn't really know what to do with it. The last time I shot nights, I was in Slovakia.
Yeah.
Before the COVID hit, we were in Slovakia filming nights for Van Helsing, the first 3 shows of the final season.
Mm-hmm.
And we were in castles riding horses. Well, you weren't riding horses. I was. No. And it was freezing.
Yeah, that's where we're at. It's freezing here. And I'll tell you, people don't understand the filming of nights is basically like tonight, I'll go in at 6 p.m. and I'll get out at, 7 a.m. So you have to adjust your body clock. And then sometimes they'll pop a day on you and you're like, you have to adjust again. But all that being said, how dare they?
Being the lead of the movie, how dare they treat you like that?
But all that being said, I got up, I tried to, sleep in a little, and then I went for a really quick run, but now I can't stop sweating. All right. And I'm very bright, but it's great to see you on this Wednesday.
It's great to see you. I miss you every week. All I think about is the Reaper reviews, and here we are again. And
it's amazing.
I spent 7 years basically beside you. Our trailers were side by each. You remember,
right next to each other.
So I knew when you were.
Chibs was with us too.
And Chibs. It was always Chibs, Juice, and Tig.
Yeah.
And whenever you were peeing, I could hear that. Whenever you were on the phone with Meg, I could hear that. You heard all my business shit through the wall.
I could smell the lavender. I could smell the lavender.
Lavender musk. So I swear to God, I knew, and I know what you smell like, whether you jog or don't jog. You're very, very good smelling man.
Very.
You're okay.
I smell fantastic. Right now, I'm very bright. We keep talking about the lights. We spoke for a while.
Did you put a little powder
out there? I don't know. I'm just like, it's the brightness from here in Canada. Like the sun is, whoo.
Pre-winter. Is that late fall? Hey, are the leaves changing? Is it beautiful there?
I don't know, Kim. I'm in a cornfield all day. I don't know. The corn took a turn for the worse. The corn took a turn. I am. And the corn took a turn the other day. We showed up one day and all of a sudden that corn was
not the same.
Not the same. And what we said was, whew, thank God we're filming at nights because that corn is going down.
And it's getting harder. I mean, I don't know if you've actually got the husks of those things and you're throwing them at people, but don't, because you will crack a skull.
Yeah, I'm doing a scene tonight where I have to break off a piece of corn and I use it to mark my directions. But one of the things I learned is the corn that's in this one is called cattle corn. So it's the one they use for
cattle,
the feeding and the cattle, right? So you can't make it.
Look at you turning into a Canadian farmer just like that.
I'm here, buddy. I'm basically a farmer at this point.
What that means is you're not a Black Angus, so don't be chewing on that corn. That's for cattle, not for humans.
I took one and I wanted to just, for being in the moment, I wanted to bring it back to the hotel and eat it.
You're an idiot. It's okay.
Somebody said,
not going to kill you.
No, but somebody said like, it's not the corn you're thinking of.
No, it's not. Your craps the next day will be a lot different if you eat that corn.
Cattle craps. I'll have cattle craps. So here's what I wanted to do now that
before we do that, if I may, this is your show. I'm just your sidekick.
No, it's yours. Go.
Have you noticed my backdrop is back in running back to Saskatoon?
No, you've never had this backdrop.
Singing that. It's a different backdrop, but I'm in my mama's living room. Joyce is out there trying not to make too much noise, which is really hard. You did. You did. It's really hard for her, but you're doing a good job, Mom. Back in Saskatoon, visiting my mother as good sons should do in this wacky time of COVID, even though hopefully we're all going to get better soon. Anyway, hi from Saskatoon.
Hi from Saskatoon. I'm basically at this point fully Canadian at this point. I
welcome, buddy.
I know, and it's incredible. I mean, I am all over this place now, and I'm saying toque, I say I am all over. And it really is such a beautiful place. I have to give Canada so much props. Everybody is so cool, and it's just such a pleasure filming here and just being here for, you know, and you and I have been everywhere. Canada, you obviously have been everywhere. The one place I haven't been that I'd really like to go is Nova Scotia.
The Maritimes, they're the best.
Yeah, I've kind of heard that. Sid the kid's from there. I know that.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, Dartmouth. He's from Dartmouth, Nova Scotia.
Yeah, and so that's kind of on my bucket list. And then obviously just to see that blue water we've talked about of Lake Louise, I kind of want to see that, right? Is that what that is?
You will. Yeah. Glacial fed. You'll love it there. The Rocky Mountains of Alberta is something else.
Yeah. So that's what's going on here. We're done soon, and then I'll head back to Austin. Yeah. I can't wait because obviously the kids and Mego can't come with me on these things because
too hard.
It's a little complicated now.
Yeah, with the quarantining and everything else that goes along with it. So it'll be good for you to get home, see the family. You've done a great job on that film, and I can't wait to see it.
I posted a COVID test on my Insta
how'd
the
that
other
go?
day. Well, you know, listen, everybody was like, wow, you were so zen, you didn't move, because the difference here, and I don't know if this is just a Canadian thing, is they go all the way in. Like it's a long, and it goes all the way in. And I kind of go into the zen state while I'm doing it, and I didn't move, and everybody was like, wow, you didn't move. Because in the States, when I did it, they just literally go like right in your nose, or like not so far in. And this one touches the back of your brain, basically.
In Canada, we were trying to find your brain, and we didn't find your brain because it kept going and going all the way back.
And people were so surprised. They're like, you didn't move. And I said, have you seen my nose?
I can't wait for my first test. I mean,
they could throw it from across the room.
They could dart me from 40 feet away.
Like a spear through your nose.
Got it.
He's fine.
Were you really zenned out? Like, I've heard it's kind of uncomfortable.
No, don't move. I don't move.
Wow.
I have this thing. I was
Staten Island.
I was gonna post another one today because what happens now, but I didn't want to overload the page
system.
COVID test.
Yeah.
But what happens is they only go through my left side. And when they went in, what happens every time? One tear comes right down my left side. So it's just whatever it is. And I filmed it, and I have the tear that just drops.
Oh, come on. A little Greek theater for people.
Yeah.
Like real emotion. A nose emotion.
No,
One tear.
The second he pulls out.
One tear. The second he pulls out. All right.
You froze. You're frozen.
Yeah,
you froze for a second.
I'm good. Yeah. I'm back.
It just said your internet connection is unstable. How do you
feel about
that? Maybe it's mine. That's impossible.
I'm on Wi-Fi here at Joyce's house, so I should be all right.
I hope you're on Wi-Fi. There's really no other way to be unless you're.
There's no other way to be.
Internet. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
no, I'm all right.
But here's some of the things I wanted to do today that for these Reaper reviews that everybody is so enjoying. A couple of things that I have on my list. I'm calling them action items. Okay, so one of the things we did this week that I want to address is, as we grow the show, which we're doing on YouTube and the audio one on Apple Pod and everywhere you get podcasts, Google Play and all that kind of stuff. One of our providers, which is our hosting site of our audio, put out a survey. It was given by our show provider to grow bigger and to level up, because basically, I guess I don't know how these things work, and I'm too stupid to understand, but they want to know who your audience is, and then they can kind of direct your show to get bigger to specific audiences. So they'll notice there's been a survey going around. I filled it out. I put in a fake name because that's what I do. And I think I put it as Harry Henderson and or Rupert Pumpkin. I don't know what I did, but I put it in and I filled out the survey. So if you see a survey that has to do with theory and Reaper reviews, fill it out. Fill it out. Put in what you want. It's good for us. It's good for you. It's good for the show. All these fun weeks. And it gets the show bigger. Yeah. And we're going to do, that we're doing apparel soon. Get ready. Wow. Yeah, I know. That's in the works. We got some cool apparel going. Obviously, everybody knows the video is on YouTube. And if you're watching this right now on YouTube, you have to subscribe. The reason is
it's a big thing.
It's a big thing.
I'm learning all this from you. I mean, and you're learning it from your producers and everything else. There's a lot to do. It's easy, though.
It's easy. Just literally subscribe. Just hit the subscribe button as you're watching this, because apparently, and again, too stupid to understand what's going on, it helps the show. That's what I know. That's one. Number two, we're going to answer questions later on this show that fans have written in.
I love that.
Me too. And we're going to answer.
We're so good at that, Theo.
We're so good. We're not going to know one answer. We're not going to know one answer.
I'm not going to have one answer correct, but I'll make it up.
I hope they're not hard. I'm going to look. They're in my inbox.
No smoking.
No smoking. No
smoking.
No snow. No, nothing. We don't know anything. Tear. We don't know anything. Okay. And then the other thing we're going to do, which I thought this is a long time coming, you and I both wanted to shout out, they call it, or give thanks to these incredible groups that kind of always been of supporting Sons and kind of the whole, and you and I forever, from the beginning. And people don't realize how awesome and important that is. And it drives me nuts that sometimes I forget to acknowledge it. I do. I always write them, and I always, in the DMs or give them, just say thank you. But I wanted to do it here for you and I. So starting off with the SOA and Mayan Addicts, they've been there since the beginning. Like literally.
They were there from the pilot. Like, I don't know what the hell.
They were cast before I was.
They were well cast before I was, because you were cast before me. So way before me.
So Candace and the crew have been there forever. I wanted to give them a shout out. You wanted to say hello to...
I want to say hi to Carrie from Kim Coates' crew, at Kim Coates' crew. Carrie has been along with me and my ride as a philanthropist / actor / dad / producer from day one. She's never asked for anything. This chick is the most incredible girl who just gives it up for you and for me and for all of us Sons, really, with her research, with her photos. And I know she's getting the survey out there to all her peeps. And I just can't thank you enough, Carrie. Thank you very much.
That's pretty amazing, right? And then I have some other ones here that I just want to I just got to say, just because, and whatever. And if this bothers who's ever listening, I don't care. I have to, I really don't, because I have to, you got to understand, when people are always supporting, you have to acknowledge it, because they're amazing. And the Sons of Anarchy Nomads of Spain are always on it.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave people out, so just know that I don't mean to.
While you're looking there, I want to say Becca and Rachel and all the girls from London, the girls from Germany, all you European peeps who continue to say this and that and telling everybody about this show and about rewatching Sons in your spare time in this crazy time in the world. It means the world to Theo and I want to thank all the girls from over there in Europe.
Yeah, there's this one Sam Crow, Sons of Anarchy fan on Instagram, Sam Crow 8 or something. And listen, we're going to do many more over the weeks. I don't want to but just know that we appreciate you. We thank you. And it's awesome. It really is.
It's awesome.
The one thing that was so cool about Sons that I don't know if it exists as much anymore. Because it was a weekly, it is kind of a bit of a bygone era of, waiting every week for a show and talking about it and doing interviews in the middle of the week about what's coming up. And, how many times have you and I said, well, you just got to wait and see what's coming. Yeah. You can't say anything.
Yeah.
That's kind of a bit of a bygone era because everything's binge watching now and stuff like that. But what that meant was, and I say this to people, why it was so special is people felt like you were part of their family because they were living with you for 7 or 8 years.
That's right.
All week long, 7 or 8 years, 6 months a year. You were in
13 weeks.
In their living room.
In their living room, bedroom, wherever they were. Amazing.
And you were with them. And then during the week when the show wasn't on, you would see them in magazines, or you would see them on a talk show, or you would see them somewhere. And they became part of your family. And at the same time, they became part of our family.
Correct.
Which I think is such a cool thing that I know doesn't really exist. And I think that's why when people try to figure out why are people so, you know, crazy about a lot of those kind of shows, The Sopranos and Oz and The Wire and The Shield and Breaking Bad and even Game of Thrones, Walking Dead at the end, it's because of that. And I just think that it's such an honor to have been part of something like that. And I think that that's why, again, here we are doing these Reaper reviews and this started by us having fun and wanting to do this. And now another community has started around this because people just kind of like to all be interested in the same thing.
Well, and wasn't it true too, like about, I don't know, a couple months ago, Kurt Sutter reached out to all of us and just wanted to go, hi, what a time, what a ride. If I didn't say it enough then, I'm saying it now. I can't thank you all enough. I love you. I miss you so much. And now Kurt's answering questions on his Instagram and his Twitter. Like, I think that times like this, Theo, and we've said this before, I certainly do. We're reflecting now. We're reflecting about how we can make Mother Earth better. We're reflecting about a lot of things that are happening and still happen that we need to make better. And Sons of Anarchy for you and I, and for millions of people, was a 7-year period of, wow, what a ride.
And just happy. People were just happy. Like, happy. You know, say what you want. You know, that's the thing about what I love about entertainment and this business, which you and I just spent a little while talking about before we hit record on this, is, you know, you can bring, like, people will say to me, oh, you know, the fans are so nuts and they're this and they're that. And I said, you have to understand that they're happy. And it makes me happy that they're happy. Like,
great thing to say, Theo.
Because it brings, like, they're so happy when they were invested in something and they can go and speak to their friends and they have the same commonality of this show that would bring people together. It would bring families together. It would put people around a TV. It would give them conversation in the office. That is such a cool thing to be part of. And at the same time, what people don't understand is it brought our family together, which is you and I, and Charlie and Ryan and Chibs and, you know, all these guys and Katie and Tara and Wendy, and, like, it brought us all together. And we were also doing the same thing. We were having that same excitement every week.
Those dinners that Pearl and Booney and you, me, Charlie, Ryan, 10 of us sitting around those tables having dinner once a week for those years, and it was our family time of get together, of talking about the week, talking about next week, talking about just whatever it was. And I never forgot those times, man. They were so special. Such a
different time. And I think why people are so nostalgic now, why I just talked about nostalgia and why people are reflecting so much is, listen, there's no denying, and I think if you deny it, we're living in complicated times for a multitude of reasons, right? And I know that you and I aren't going to get into all that, but this is complicated times. And I think the big thing is because there's a lot of fear.
Yeah,
we're living in fearful times. You know, I just did this big campaign with the AFSP about suicide prevention. Suicide rates are through the roof. You know, people are having a lot of times with, you know, their mental stability and what's going on. And what I say to them is, you know, that knows no bounds, right? That's everyone, no matter where the levels are or what you are. And in a time where, you know, it's a very fear-driven society right now and everybody's scared, it's okay. And if we can give you any type of a moment of levity or you can have fun, like watching this and just hearing me and my fellow idiot know nothing about anything and enjoy our show. And we can sit here and entertain, if only for an hour and 15 minutes or whatever. Great. Yeah. Great. We all win. I'm having fun because I'm talking with my brother about something that we've never seen and that we were part of. That's years ago, but is such a huge part of our history. And you're able to watch this and enjoy. Like, I can't find me the negative to that.
There is no negative.
Right. So when people say, oh, you know, like, again, and we joke about the comments, but it's like, you know, oh, you need to get these people on the show, or, you know, you need to do them in order, or, you know, you look like you're in San Quentin prison because you're in a hotel room, or, you know, Kim's hair may be a little flatter than it usually is, or he's in an unknown location.
I'm having a really good hair day today.
He's in an unknown location. We don't know where he is. just fucking enjoy it because this is, in the crazy times we live in, this is amazing.
I have always found all those incredible comments fascinating because this show, that your idea of doing these Reaper reviews a few months ago, this show, there was always never enough for people. They always wanted, like when you and I did our charities, well, how come there isn't 10 or 8? Yeah. That actually comes from love. And I know that. But if I try and tell these people from 6 inches away back in the day, do you know how fucking hard it is to get me and Theo here?
Yeah.
Let alone 8. It's not going to happen. So enjoy what you have. So you looking like well, that's a pretty nice prison. I'm in fucking Saskatoon in a goddamn living room that I was born in this house 85 years ago.
The house that Fred built.
The house that actually my mom's dad, George Reese, built this thing.
Well, there you go.
And I was literally 2 years old. Anyway, here we are.
Here we are. And again, it's the same thing when and this is something funny that
vodka?
I always wanted.
Vodka, anyone?
Oh, speaking of, I don't know if this is a Canadian thing. Bubbly. I usually drink the Lucky.
So good.
I'm drinking one right now. And by the way,
don't you like it?
I do. You know what I've always had? Yeah, this is it. I'm going to have it. And I might even, it might gas me up a little. Who knows? But let me ask you this. Is it LaCroix or LaCroix?
LaCroix.
I think they say LaCroix here for the
Who
drink.
does?
I think the drink is called LaCroix. I think the proper way to say it is LaCroix.
It's LaCroix. It's a French word, but
I think they say LaCroix.
I'm certainly not going to take bets against you, Theo. I'm not where you are, so good for you. Knock it out of the park.
Write it in the comments, okay? I don't know. I don't know. But what I was going to say is it's very funny. What people don't realize, you know what I get a lot sometimes with this show is people go, it's like you, where they'll say, why did Tig have to shoot Donna? Right? Like something like that, right? Or they'll go, Juice, why didn't you just tell the club about your dad? And I go, it's the show. It's
a TV show.
It's a TV show.
That's what Kurt wrote.
They're like, if you never did that, this wouldn't have happened. I go,
oh, I love that. I love that when it get deep like that.
No, I know, but then it wouldn't.
It's not real life. It's a TV show. Then we wouldn't have a show.
You don't go down those rabbit holes, people, because that doesn't.
It's not going to do you any good.
If Tig didn't do what he did to Donna, there wouldn't be the amazing stuff that we're talking about. Like that's part of the show. Yeah. Speaking of shows, what are we doing this week? Do you know?
Well, I do, and I have to say that I know that you get shout outs, Theo, from people doing, let's do this one, let's do that one.
Let me tell you who said this one. Go ahead.
I don't know who someone set this one up.
This is a big one.
But I got to tell you, this one's called Fun Town.
Yeah.
And what Rossi came up with, well, we both came up with it together, which I think is a terrific idea, is we tend to do a couple weeks in a row where we might stay in the same season. And now we're going to go back to season 1 for a couple of weeks. Is that not true, Theo?
Yeah. Yeah, right? We're doing 2 in a row. We're doing Fun Town, and then we're doing next week is Hell Followed.
Hell Followed, still season 1. I believe it's episode 11. I think something like that. Right? No. Season
it's episode 9.
Oh, geez, I might have screwed that up.
I might be wrong too, by the way.
Whatever Hell Followed. Let's hope we have the right one.
Who cares? Who cares? It's called Hell Followed. Who cares?
But
it's episode 9.
Is it episode 9? Excellent.
Yeah.
Okay.
Season 1, episode 9. Next week, Hell Followed.
Okay. So what we have here is Fun Town. And I have to just say that the title of this show is perfect because we go to Fun Town right away. And it's a roller coaster scene. And if you can just imagine Booney, Charlie, and myself squeezing our butts into those little kids' roller coasters, that day was, they're going to pay us for this? Like, it was the most, and we're all getting to know one another, And there was a lot of ad-libbing going on in those early days, which all got kind of cut down as we went along. But honestly, that whole beginning thing was so much fun. And I just got to, sorry, Theo, I got to say one thing. That as this show continued and continued and continued, we would always hear from certain 1%ers or people in clubs. They would just go, you know, they loved the show. Everyone loved the show, but it got dark. It got real violent and dark at times, right? And they would always say, we just have more fun than that. We don't, because it's a TV show.
Correct.
It's fiction, people.
Yes.
It's fiction. So
suspension of disbelief.
Correct. That's a very good way of putting it. And this show, Funtown, was just, again, this drama. Oh my God, it's coming. We'll talk about it. But it started out being such fun.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you, this is, before we get into breaking down the episode, which, by the way, we're getting really good at. I don't know if people realize the improvement of us breaking down episodes. It might take 45 minutes to get to us talking about it, but God, are we getting good at it.
Aren't we?
We are. This is, I mean, we're basically pros at this point.
Aren't we?
But let me tell you about Funtown. This is what I got from it in the beginning before we break it down. It made me realize what a small town charming was. Like, because it was a little fair where the carny thing comes in and out, the carnival comes in and out, and here we are, Clay's sleeveless and the leather, you know, cut, and we're on this little roller coaster, and it's like all the people from the town are there, and it reminded me of like small town USA or whatever you want to call it, small town, whatever. And it's how I always imagined charming. And I felt that when the show got bigger and bigger down the road, we kind of didn't talk about the small townness of charming a lot. And here they are, these outlaw bikers amongst the town, and they're having so much fun, like you said, in the little roller coaster, where people don't realize that was our third episode ever. Yeah. Ever. We still, you know, Bobby doesn't have a beard.
Oh,
you're clean shaven.
I got nothing going on. I'm trying to put salt and pepper on my grow.
Yeah.
Get the burns going.
We're not even who we are at that point.
No.
We're still, we don't know if we're going to be on for a couple of weeks. We don't know anything at that point. And we're still figuring it out. And you could tell when you're watching the episode that us as actors are trying to figure this out. But man, it really showed like I felt that there was an innocence and like almost I don't want to say this the wrong way, like a low budgetness to it. Like,
oh my gosh. I'm telling you right now, the look of the show, not only did the acting and us actors and the writing from Sutter and his team evolve, the look evolved. The cameras we were using in the 7th season were so much more technologically evolved than this first season. And Paul Maybaum, our DOP, amazing. We've shouted him out countless times, and we will forever. He's so talented, him and his crew.
He really is.
But the show looked different. It was the beginning stages of the red. It was the beginning stages of how things looked. And it was just, reminded me of like an old Western in a way. Like, it just
everybody was like finding their way. Again, it was like the camera department was finding its way. The actors were finding their way. Everybody, like, I could look at people's clothing and go, they never really wore that after season 2. It was like, because we started to find what our looks were. But in this moment, it was kind of, again, we talk about this first season was really a lot of us trying to figure it out. And again, before we get into it, that small town charming feeling.
Exactly.
I loved it.
I loved it. I loved it too. And I must say, when I look at myself and you kill me.
Oh
just
my
your
God.
look, no, it kills me. But me, Oakley, one of the best things I ever did as Tig, knowing nothing, scrambling to find out 1%ers and all the stuff that we based our characters on, and all the rings and what they mean, and the just the past of what our club meant, and quick research for Kimbo being pulled into the pilot at such a last minute like that. This guy, the best thing I did with props, Adam and Brando and the boys, was to pick out those Oakley crosshairs. They were glasses that Oakley were dying to give someone on the show, and they thought this, and I looked, I said, yeah, those are Tig. And I stayed with Oakley for all 7 years, and they evolved, but those were the original ones I wore for 1 or 2 seasons for sure. And you and I talk about watching these shows, some for the first time, some we've seen before, but man, oh man, my reminder of those early sunglasses were special.
Yeah. And it's funny, you know, I have such a blackout of a lot of it. Like but then there's certain scenes that I see and I go, I remember running on that grass.
Yeah.
In the park. Like, I get this.
Why is that? Why do we have that? That's so true.
I don't know what it is.
It's palpable. We go back. You have a vision of it. You remember it.
I feel it. And then there's certain parts that I go, I have no idea that I was even there. I don't remember it. I don't remember doing it. And again, I think because we are watching these middle episodes for the first time. And again, let's always clarify that you and I have seen the premieres because that's what we had to do. We've seen a lot of the finales, but the middle ones are new to us. And us seeing these, I guess it is that, like, even though it's years ago, bringing it back. So listen, I just said the beginning of this show, it's such a cool opening with the small town carnival. You know, Jax looks super young, you know, I just like everybody looks like super young. And then we even cut to that big shot, which must have been an expensive shot with the IRA on the ship. I always wondered, did they do that in San Pedro, or we used to go down there? Remember?
They did.
That's where that was.
They did. And
that was McKeevy on the boat.
They did. Yeah.
That's Chapman who wound up going on to that other show, who we wind up, you know, losing later on. And Kevin Chapman is a great dude, a really good guy, great actor. But
Kevin Chapman was fantastic, man. I think, and I wanted to ask you, may I?
Please.
Was that the first time we heard Irish accents on this show? I know in the pilot we didn't really. Maybe we did a little bit with the guy. Fuck, I don't even know. But
the Irish accents are terrible.
Could we just slow down a little bit? Like I mean, it took me 5 years to figure out Tommy Flanagan. Like no one could do dictionary Tommy
Scottish,
like me. At the end, Scottish. I mean, he was the greatest of all time.
I understand every word. This is the funny thing about me. I feel like I'm like a Chibs whisperer. Like I understand every word he says.
Took me 5 years, and then I got it, and I had it.
People would come up to me and be like, we can't, you know, we need subtitles. I go, I understand every word he says.
Yeah.
It's the other Irish guys that I have no idea what they're talking about. The ones who were not pretending to be Irish, but they're not, they don't speak in that dialect normally. But again, Kevin's an amazing actor, and it was so fun having him on. I had just seen him in a bunch of films prior to that.
He was going to be a bigger part.
Then he got a show. Like, he got
a show, and I know we were all like, "Oh, that's too bad," because he really brought gravitas and weight to the show.
But that show he got ran like 7 years. It was a network show, the one with Jim Caviezel.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Whatever it was called, Taraji was on it too. He got that, made that network.
Had to go. Good for him. No, good for him.
Yeah. He made, you know, totally wasn't making the shekels we were making.
I want to. Yeah. The shekels got a little better as the years went on.
Yeah.
But I got to say that whole Carney scene. I don't know if you noticed or not, because you weren't in that early stuff, the carnival stuff. We looped it all. We had ADR on every single line, and I must say that must have been so hard for the sound boys who did such a great job on our show, because it was an early. We all were body mic, but there was machines going on in the background, and Carney's telling them to keep it on the down low when we spoke, and so we just had to loop the entire thing.
Stupid question. And I know it's stupid before I say it, so I'm just going to say it anyway. Was that was created just for us? Obviously, it wasn't like a pre-existing carnival.
In Sunland, no. Sunland didn't have a carnival like that. We created that.
And then also, that had to be a pretty good amount of extras for a third show. There was a lot of people.
100%. Oh, 100%. It was a big, crowded day.
Yeah.
We just had so much fun. It was
so much fun. And we stuck out like sore thumbs with those cuts on. And
oh, my God. And they're brand new and they're not dirty yet. Oh, yeah.
And then, okay. So then what I was saying, and we mentioned this on a previous show, I did remember this, and I'm going to bring it up again, even though I already did, that Tom Sizemore was supposed to play the clown.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is that true?
Yeah, I'm not positive about anything in this life. I'm 100% positive about that one. Because Wendy or somebody had told me that was going to happen, but that was when Tom was going through a pretty tumultuous time. And I remember thinking, why would he play that? It was such a small kind of role.
Tommy Sizemore and I go back a long way. As you know, we worked together in Black Hawk Down and another movie earlier than that. And I remember the takeoff of his career. I remember those early 90s. He did that Sylvester Stallone prison movie.
Yep. It was called Lock
Up or
yep.
something.
Yep.
And then he just started.
Private Ryan was his Private Ryan. He was amazing.
On top of his game. And Heat. I mean, anyway. So
wow.
He's taken off. And so Tommy and I in Morocco, when we spent all that time together, I saw, you know, the demons, right, with Tom, and everyone's got demons, and how do you deal with them, and what kind of demons are they, and Tommy is maybe still going through it. I'm really not sure, and I wish him the best. But at that time, he was really trying to make a comeback, maybe, you know, and Sons was going to be a big show, and he just wanted to work. I
did a movie with him in 2000. About crystal meth. That he wanted to do. He was sober at the time. We didn't have any scenes together, but it was a small little movie called Meth Head. And I know he wanted to do it because of his own demons. And it was right around the time of this. And that's why I was kind of new about the story. So I just wanted to bring that up. And then the other thing that I noticed in this beginning stuff, as we're going in, we were trying to bring Half Sack more in the club, right? Like Clay was trying to like get him in. Hey, learn something, you know, telling him to get in there.
Is he ready? Is he ready? Yeah.
And he asked Tig, like, is he ready? And that was really such a cool, like, prospect thing, right? That's what he was doing. That's what club members do with prospects. Is he 100%. Ready? Let him learn something, bring him in. And they were coming to bring the guns. That was really, again, remember, third episode here. So we're establishing IRA ties. We're establishing prospects, the club, who we are. The
Nords, Derby. We'll get into that. But all that, who's who, small town. And I mentioned like when Elliot's wife and daughter, who were such a big part of this show, we meet them right away. There they are. And what a nice family, and what's the tie between Oswald and Clay? What's that really mean? What's going on with those two? I don't know.
And showing the difference between the outlaw bikers and the rich people in the neighborhood. That's the people who own everything, and the dichotomy of the two, and why they need us and we need them, but kind of they don't want to acknowledge it. Great writing. Great setup. Great setup.
Sutter and his setups early were just phenomenal, man.
And by the way, and setting up all this stuff super early, right? And there's something I'm going to say. Tell me I could be completely wrong.
Yeah.
Do you think, because we see right away early that the young girl has been assaulted. Right?
Yeah, I got that down right here.
Absolutely heartbreaking. The way it was shot, the way she's left there, the way whatever, and it's absolutely heartbreaking. Here's my question to you. Do you think that moment led to Gemma's moment in season 2, episode 1?
Oh, wow.
Do you think that put it in his brain?
Maybe. That's an incredible question. But what I do know about Sutter is he, for better or for worse, was not afraid of tackling all the issues.
Complex issues.
All of them. From assault to guns to kids shootings coming up down the line in season 4, whatever. And just what school shootings, it just.
You couldn't do any of that anymore.
These things that he would tackle were so like, we're right there at that aftermath of that beautiful little girl in the woods there. And
she's 13 in the show. She's 13 years old. And I was thinking, when he's writing this, is this the spark for what happens to Gemma later? Because it's not many episodes later. It's 10 episodes later. And Gemma has such a, we'll come to find out later on in this episode, has such a big part of her.
Talking to the mom,
going into the room with her and all that.
Yes, so the little girl.
So I that was something that was sitting in my brain. Again, I just thought that was really interesting for what happens with Gemma later on.
Amazing.
So then after that, here we are again, the Sons, the gang that can't shoot straight. We never have money. We're always worried.
And why am I yelling so much? I mean, Tig at the beginning, I started yelling at everybody, yelling.
McKeevy was yelling too. Everybody was yelling.
Tommy was looking at me like we were in church there. We're all around trying to figure out who we're going to help, who we're not going to help. Are we going to? And I'm going, no, we're not. screaming, and then Charlie screams, and then Boone goes, "Shut up." It was like, what the hell just happened?
I wrote this down. Why is everyone yelling at the table over Oswald? I literally wrote this down. And right before this, before we did that, Oswald comes to the Sons for help.
That's right.
Let's talk about that for a second.
Go right ahead.
By the way, just to reiterate, great fucking writing. At the carnival,
yeah,
Oswald and Gemma, Clay, and Oswald's wife have a moment, and you realize that what is Clay, I think, says he doesn't want to be seen with the big bad bikers, right? And because Gemma says they should remove the stick from her ass or whatever they say, right? Cut to something, the worst thing that could ever happen to a parent happens, and who does he come to? The big bad bikers, right? So now it's this chess match, this game. And then we go right from Oswald coming to ask for help, basically begging for it.
Yeah.
And, Clay knows that he's going to do it for free. And we come to find out that nothing's for free, right? There was a reasoning.
I know. That's right.
Which I didn't see coming.
I didn't see coming. And Charlie didn't see coming until the end, which we'll get to.
But then we cut to the church, which is the table, which we call church, the clubhouse part where the table is. And you are screaming.
I'm looking at this episode last night going, shut up. Take it down a notch, buddy. And I got Tommy beside me going like, what the fuck? I mean, what a treat. And everyone's smoking. What's with this smoking?
Because we were still smoking at the time.
We thought we could just puff. I wasn't smoking. I grew into it. But you were just like.
Puffing away.
It's
when I used to smoke cigarettes. And that's before I knew what it meant to be a smart actor. By the way, all the young actors out there.
Don't smoke.
First of all, don't smoke. First of all, it's 2020. We're pretty positive now that smoking is the dumbest thing on the planet. Everybody knows it. If you smoke, yes.
Don't do it.
I'm going to tell you shouldn't, right? Okay, right. That's number one. Get mad, write a fucking comment. I don't care. You shouldn't smoke. I know I used to smoke. Here's the thing for young actors.
I know what you're going to say.
Sometimes you think that if you're a smoker and someone says smoke in a scene, you're like, this is amazing.
Yeah. Whoa.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you something about acting.
Did you go through about 20 cigarettes in that scene?
At least.
Go right ahead.
Because they shoot a scene from 96 different angles. And sometimes a scene could take upwards of 4 hours. The cigarette, if you choose to smoke it, always has to be smoked in the scene.
And it also has to be continuity.
The same
which
length.
Means when Juice lit the cigarette, you have to do that on every single time. And then is it half done? And the continuity girl will come over to us and go, Theo, and so that good idea for the first light up might have been so cool if you want to smoke in that scene, but it turns out to be your worst nightmare because you're
violently ill. Yeah. You're violently ill.
Oh my God.
Violently
hard,
ill. You would smoke 20 to 30 cigarettes within a 3 to 4 hour span. You were sick to your stomach and you learned real quick to never do it again. And then people say, well, wait a second. I didn't know they use real cigarettes on the show. They don't usually. They actually usually don't. But idiots, like we were in the beginning, would use real ones. And then when we got to the later time and we used fake ones, guess what? They sucked just as much.
Herbal. They were herbal cigarettes and they were horrible. They smelled like pot.
Torched your lungs. Horrible. Torched your lungs.
Worst.
So don't ever smoke in real life, and surely don't ever smoke on fucking camera. Okay. That's the lesson of the day, kids.
Fun town.
So after you're yelling at everyone, and everybody's screaming, we see Hale's father for the first time. Question: do we ever see him again? That was a one-time offer?
Not sure. You're asking, like, do you think I know anything?
No.
I don't know a thing.
No.
I don't know. So I'm really not sure.
I believe that was the first and only time we see him. Correct in the comments.
I think it is. Let us know.
Okay. Hale then does a scene where he comes to the clubhouse, and I couldn't remember his name, but Hale comes with the two other cops, which, by the way, turns into a great scene. But Hale was doing the CSI Miami sunglasses on and off.
Good old
what was
David
the actor's
Caruso.
name?
David Caruso. My boy. You're your boy. You worked with him.
I worked
I
with
did
him
6
too.
shows with this guy.
Those glasses moves he did on CSI Miami are fucking classic, by the way, as an actor. That choice.
And the Emmy goes to Best Sunglass Removal, David Caruso.
Tell him how he did it. You worked with him more than I did.
Just like, no, and the thing about David, he was a perfectionist. If they didn't cut, like we would spend hours just to make sure that thing, that's why he looked so smooth and so cool, because he had to do it over it because he wasn't feeling it. And I'm going, can I just have my lunch now?
What a choice.
Take him off.
What a fucking choice.
Put him on.
He went full Caruso in that scene, and I thought it was amazing. It was amazing because you don't realize it when you're acting. You think about every little thing that's happening, right? You could hear a cricket fart if you're acting because you're so aware. Everything's hypersensitive. But to think like, I'm going to take my glass off right as I say this, it's
amazing.
It's amazing. And
it's so early. This is early Hale. This is baby Hale.
Figuring it out.
Figuring it out.
So then we go to Wendy in the hospital with Tara.
And I just got to say, good old Dre DeMatteo, hard to put her down. It's just like hard to put her down. When she signed on for this, and Sutter told her an arc, that he told all of us slightly about an arc. I mean, and I got more coming up about her, but you just can't put her down. That girl just came to play every day.
She looks amazing. She's so perfect for the role. Best hair in the business. Kind of just kicks ass. And again, seeing her and Tara together, just great acting and such tension. And again, and I'll make a comment later about the Tara Gemma scenes, but just great scenes. And there was so many
women, powerful women.
Yeah, and also what I'm realizing,
fragile,
in the early
not afraid
scenes,
of their feelings.
No, and what I'm realizing in the early stuff, we were in the hospital a lot.
And do you know why, Theo? I know why. Because it was a good storyline, A. B, because we didn't have as much money.
No.
We were on that set, that beautiful North Hollywood studio, old chips from the early 70s set that they redid for Telemundo, the garage. Yeah. And we had those two small, big sets that they would do. And the hospital set was a big one, and they wanted to use it, and they did.
So here's what's funny. That set, we had our own set. People who are huge fans of the show know about it. A lot of people back as we got to the later seasons would hang out outside of it. Hundreds of people.
Would they ever?
Telemundo, you could see from the street. You could see the clubhouse. You can see everything. And ultimately, it was a mini soundstage. Bigger sound stages would be Warner Brothers and Paramount and CBS and all that. Okay. This was a mini soundstage. And if you ever get a chance in your life, and even if you just go on kind of YouTube and look at it, there's a magic to sound stages that is like nothing I've ever felt, especially if you're a young actor. Sound stages are magical. They're a false world inside of a world. And when you're on them, when no one's there, and especially if you're a bit of a Hollywood historian, it feels like this is incredible. You're on this set that especially on an iconic show like Sons that you walk into. Remember we would hang out late night by the table and
never forget it.
It's amazing, right?
And we would eventually bring friends like Andrew Cogliano, who's now playing for Dallas, and
Hoist Gracie.
Oh my gosh. And the boys, they would literally come onto that soundstage studio that we had for Sons of Anarchy, and they would lose their you-know-what. There was the clubhouse, there was the church, there was the hospital, there's Ron and Clay and Gemma's bedroom. Like all the set.
I remember when Carmelo Anthony came, he just wanted to see the table. He's like, just show me, I just want to see the table. I just want to see the church.
Amazing.
It's amazing.
Amazing times, yeah.
But the point is that these sound stages before us, the show that was there was a little trivia for people, was Pamela Anderson's VIP. I know it didn't last long. That was the show after Baywatch. And then it became our studio. And again, could have been temporary. If the show doesn't work out, it would only be a little while. So we would add to the studio as the years went. But in the beginning, we had Telemundo, we had the clubhouse, and we had the hospital.
That's right. Those were the three big ones.
Those were the three big ones. And then we had Jax's little room in the back. Remember, it was past John Teller's bike.
Damn
We had the little room, and it was set up very similar to the way you see it in the show. We would leave the clubhouse, there'd be the kitchen, there'd be the pool table, and then you'd be, you know, on a fake stage. But when you were inside of it, then you'd walk, you see Jax's little room. I can't imagine, I wasn't there for it, but I wonder what it looked like when they were taking it down. Well,
I never saw them take it down, but I saw the remnants after they did. And they left the Teller Morrow sign up over the garage. Everything was gone inside the garage, but they left that up for 2 months.
Wow.
Just to leave it up. And I remember riding my motorcycle by there. I live in, you know, that area-ish, Pasadena. But anyway, I would be able to go and I would drive by and ride by, and there it was. And they kept it up, and then finally it was gone. And I remember Charlie telling the story how he went back after we were all done, just to visit it one more time after everything was gone. And it was a very weird feeling, but
they should have kept it up and made it for like tourists and stuff. They should have did something.
I know.
That would have been super cool if they just kept it.
Super cool, man. But another show went in, and then another show. I don't know what it's doing now. Probably not much. Changing world.
They're never going to have what we had there. The 7 years, same cruise, the whole bit. So there is something special. So, okay, here's something. Jay Carnes, The Stalking of Tara.
I got written down, oh, no. Cone. Oh, no. Is this the first time we see him on the show?
Again, you know.
Who knows? I don't know. I think so.
I was a huge fan of The Shield. He played a character, by the way, which would be referenced to Juice later, called Dutch Boy.
Oh,
Dutch.
Wow.
He played Dutch on The Shield.
Wow.
I was a huge fan of his.
Yeah.
I still am. So my question is, why was Tara so scared of him?
Well, I do know.
Okay.
That's why I think this is the first time we see him, because the sound of shock in her voice when she picks up the phone and it's him from Chicago, and she hangs up.
She goes nuts.
And then she goes to Hale and goes, I have a restraining order. Does it kind of work here? And he's going to find out for her. He right away, Sutter sets up the table full. This guy's bad news. He's horrible news for Tara. But we don't know he's coming. We don't know he's going to show up in Charming. We find out. But oh my God, that moment I felt it. I went, oh, who's this guy?
Bad FBI agent or something?
ATF.
Which is what?
Fuck, I don't know. ATF. It's, food and fucking guns and trafficking and all sorts of shit.
Let's guess.
ATF. American. Look it up. You can look it up.
Oh,
Get me up.
I got it.
What is it?
I would have never have got this.
Go.
Do you want to take a guess?
Food and Drug Administration.
Close.
Food, guns, drugs, something like that.
That's not, obviously none of that starts with A, T, or F.
No.
Alcohol, tobacco, firearms.
Oh, yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay.
So he was a big shot with that, just like, Stahl, right?
He was a big shot. So
big shot at ATF.
They're the guys who obviously are checking people for, guns and all that. So now we cut to Sack and Juice scene where I tell him to get on the mini bike.
Yeah.
What a fucking, again, the comedy.
God, those are some good times, though. Come on.
Times.
Do you remember shooting that scene?
No, I don't remember anything. Here's what I remember. I had on this gray shirt with all these skulls on it that Kelly Jones was pushing on me heavy. And
the costume designer, for those of you who want to know who Kelly is.
Costume designer Kelly.
Kelly.
She used to want me in the beginning in graphic T-shirts. And I was steadfast against it. But remember, I was a guest star the first year, so I couldn't be the gorilla in the room that I am now. Back then, I was very like, whatever you need, guys, whatever you want, I'll do whatever. Just don't fire me. I love being here. I was so nervous that I was going to not be on the show anymore. So I would do whatever they said. If they told me to wear a poncho, I would have wore a poncho. I would have wore anything they said. So they had these shirts with these skulls. And I remember thinking, man, I don't like this. But again, it was what everyone else was wearing. This guy's wearing a black shirt. This guy's wearing a blue Reaper shirt. You can't wear it. This one's wearing that. They would get all the first choice and I'd be last. So that's what I remember about the scene. But with the mini bike, I didn't remember it. But I do remember we all rode it. Everybody rode it.
Everybody had to.
What a great scene.
Can you imagine Chris Reed getting on that thing years later? Oof.
No.
Tires would have been blown.
He would have been wearing that bike like underwear. So now it's him. Okay. Then, by the way, what kind of drugs was in that coffee that you give to cops? Because they went out like a sack of potatoes.
My God. I mean, is that next?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So can I talk about this?
Please.
I think I made up a word, or Sutter made up.
You improv that whole scene.
Something about trappuccinos or sleepachinos. Like I said it so quick to the boys. What did I say? You didn't hear it, obviously, Theo, but I replayed it. And maybe trappuccinos or slappuccinos or sleepachinos, something. But that's going to knock them the fuck out. And boy, did it ever. And I got to tell you, after those cops went down, and I say something that's funny, Ron said something that was funny, Charlie ad-libbed that, don't fall on the flow no mo, or something like that. Don't fall on the flow no mo. That laugh that Perlman and I had was so surprising, and it was so real. That was a Kim Coates laugh. That was like, Charlie was so fucking funny at that door. And those are the good old days, man, of this show. Those were some of the... Wow,
out of all the episodes we've done, that felt like the first scene that I watched that went, that's improv. There's improv going on. Because again, remember, you and I have spoke a lot that was a no-no on this show.
Yeah.
We stuck to the writing.
Sure did.
There's projects you do that the writing goes out the window and you just got to be in the ballpark. And then there's projects where you don't change an end and a the. And this was one of those. And that, I think this was super early on, maybe before the full enforcement of that. And that scene, whatever was going on in that, seemed so real and improvised. And it was amazing. It was so fun to watch. It was a little scene that was just really fun to watch. And that's what I wrote on here. Again, you and I will always have nostalgia for the comedic stuff because, it kind of started to go away. But awesome.
Always. Never forget it.
So
okay, go ahead. No, I'm just
gives Juice the vitamins.
So Juicy, like, what the fuck was going on with you? Like, you took those vitamins like they were like you couldn't wait to dip your finger, take a pill. Like, what was like that was always such good work, but you couldn't wait. Like, you were like a little kid with a candy store. Like, what's going on with?
So remember, again, these characters change so much. In the beginning, we didn't know who Juice was. In the pilot, the original pilot, I was a totally different character named JD,
correct,
who was a hacker, who was it's so weird when you think about it too. My character's name was it J. I had a totally different name in the original pilot. I think it might have been JD, which is interesting because JD Pardo is the lead of the Mayans. I don't know.
Huh.
Yeah, this is weird. I don't know if I'm in the Truman Show. But point is, my Juice was not my name in the original pilot. And in the original pilot...
And that's the pilot I didn't shoot, so I wouldn't know that. I could help you out, but I wasn't in it.
But I had a full head of hair. He was drinking Jolt Cola. He was a hacker, and he was kind of like speed and drugs and speed and moving fast. Yeah. So there was a lot of cobwebs being held over in those original episodes. I think that's a cobweb where he was like the guy that if you gave him any drugs, he did. And there's a couple of
100%. No, for sure it was.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
So when you give those to him, he's like, oh, let's go. Right. He just takes them because he's an idiot. He's basically a simpleton. When he took those and you said they were vitamins, which I thought was really interesting and funny, he just looks at him, takes them. Doesn't care.
Doesn't care.
We were still finding out who he was at that point. And again, that leads to this incredible payoff at episode 3 at the end. So now we cut to Unser Jack's scene in the barbershop. Interesting scene, right? Unser I love that barbershop. We've talked about this before.
Floyd, yeah, amazing.
Place. Unser's doing this scene with shaving cream on his face. Him and Jax again.
Can I have a second? Can I enjoy it for a second?
The only quiet part of my fucking week.
The only part I'm enjoying.
Such a curmudgeon.
Fuck it up.
Yeah. And he's so great in that role. And he's such a curmudgeon. He had to wear that shitty ass sheriff outfit, which is probably super uncomfortable. Hot.
Oof.
That's why he was probably angry all the time. I love that.
No, he did a Brando. Dayton never had that shit on until 5 minutes, Mr. Unser. 5 minutes. And he would put that shit on and go, oh God, here we go. He was so good.
So good. So we get again, we're always in the beginning, we were dealing with the incredibleness of that relationship between the cops and the sons, right? We were always dealing with that. So they have that great scene. It's a complicated relationship. And then, I'm always going to give a shout out to my guy, Mitch, Darby.
Yeah.
Pileggi.
He's the best.
Was so fucking good in that role.
So good. And almost like he had this walk that was a bit light in the loafers.
Yeah.
The way he swayed it. The shirt was undone.
Ambiguous. You didn't know, he was so slippery. And the way he moved was like so slippery and weird. And I'm fucked, man, because we know Mitch,
so well
outside of it. And the way he played that fucking character is you couldn't get a read on him. You didn't know what was going on. And so and again, I know we'll talk about this later, but he kind of disappears after season 1, right?
Comes back here and there. But again, as Sutter did so his way, he moves on. He just moves on. There's so many other things going on. The Russians, the Irish, then the Mayans become, and then the Nords. The Nords came back. Remember that one time coming up? I don't know what season. You tell me to put black shoe polish on. We were with him and his girl. Anyway, he comes back and forth here and there. But Mitch was a true team guy. He would do 20 episodes a year, even though we only did 13, or he'd do 2.
Because he loved playing. He did total.
I don't know. I'd have to look it up, but I've got my phone here because I'm in Joyce's, bedroom. But one thing about Mitch too, I don't know where we are in our notes really. I mean, here it is, but I got to tell you, oh yeah, just before you're taking your vitamins, Darby coming out or in the hospital or where Gemma, I mean, he had some eyeliner going on. Mitch was a little heavy on the eyeliner. Now, who doesn't like a little bit of eyeliner, right? Like please, but
I know Tig does. Yeah, you got to put him in. Yeah.
I don't have any today, but I know what that means. But Mitch, calm down a little bit, you beautiful human being.
Back in the
calm
day.
It down.
Yeah, back in the day, they were slapping it on those eyes to get the peepers going. What a great scene, by the way. Is that already happened with him and Gemma? I think I have that.
It's probably coming up.
All right, but again,
it's right in there, and we're right on track. I got to say that the day that we pull up these bikes, Clay, Tig, Bobby, can't remember if Jax was with us that day or not, but one of the bikes just kept falling over.
Oh, when you pull up to the hospital.
Yeah. It was one of those days, and it's going to never go any further, but one of the bikes just kept falling, and we just kept having to get those goddamn bikes back up, and we got through the day. Then we walked closer to what's going on with Darby. And that guy, I'm telling you what, I remember Jack LaJudas was part writer on this with Kurt. And I remember Darby pissing Tig off so bad. And I wanted to add shit.
Yeah.
And Jack came over to me and said, you know what? Less is more. Don't say anything.
You were talking about the guy that you killed and all this kind of stuff.
Something was going on in there, and Ron was saying, Clay was saying something to Darby, and I'm in the middle of it, and I just remember Jack going, "You're good."
Yeah, because the guy disappeared. One of the Nords disappeared.
Something,
you had been part of it.
Yeah, and so he just said, "No, don't," because I just wanted to go off.
Yeah, but Tig always had that. It wasn't until later on. Tig kind of always had that pit bull reaction to everything.
100%.
Right away, like first one up, first one ready to go.
Right away.
Let's make it happen. And you got right in his face. And obviously Darby was our enemy in the beginning. Him and Alvarez, were the two main, antagonists.
And let me ask you this, Theo. You would know this. Again, the scene with Gemma and Darby, which is right in here before he comes outside with Gemma. Mm-hmm. Like, they have a past. There's a past of charming. That, like, Darby was just a little stupid white boy who grew into what he believed in now. Gemma was just and went to prison. And then you get Gemma. Well, we certainly know what that matriarch, that she's the show. I mean, So, but they know each other. They've grown up a little bit with each other. And again,
this is why a fucking prequel, the prequel would be amazing. If they did a prequel of all these people young, you could have Darby when he's young. You could have Unser when he's young. You could have Piney when he's young.
Can you imagine?
It would be so fucking great. Floyd when he's young. You could have all these people if you did like a 1968 John Teller. Again, I could say that just because I want to see it. I would love to see the genesis of the whole thing and the show when like Jax is like a teenager.
Yeah. Whoa, wow.
I just wrote it. I just wrote the whole show. I just wrote 7 seasons. So
just like that.
So now we go to the raid on the house. These are really funny. I was very fortunate.
Aren't they funny?
I wasn't there. Thank God.
No, I just want to say, Theo, it's the best work you've ever done when you're on the ground drugged up. You're not speaking.
Spit.
You're not acting. You just spew, and you were out. And I thought give him an Oscar for that fucking scene right now.
Spit was my idea.
Is there any? Yeah.
My idea.
From experience or just because you're a reader,
I was actually really passed out.
You were really passed out.
Yeah, I'll tell you, one of the big problems I've always had as an actor, one of the big problems, many that I have, but one of them was whenever I either have to be dead in something or be passed out, I really fall asleep.
Yeah, of course you do.
So the sound department hates me because I'm always snoring, and they're like, "What are you doing? You're supposed to be dead or passed out." So I'm not good to die in stuff.
That is funny.
And you and we like to die in television shows and movies. That's our thing.
My mom. Who do you kill in this one? Do you die in this one? You're playing a doctor. He's a bad doctor. Oh, Jesus, Joyce. I play the hero once in a while.
Once in a while? I'm not killing everybody, and I don't die in everything. But no, I get it. And the point is I fall asleep. So in that part, I am asleep. Funny. I messed up with the guns. You grab the bag. You guys go on this rock and roll soundtrack mission.
Heavy banger, cracker, frickin' music, man.
What happened?
Bangered out.
What happened?
Well, like what happened was when we realized Juice fucked up, and there's no clips in the bag, we were going to go get the one guy that we feel responsible for what he's been doing. And we're trying to find the rapist. We're trying to, right?
You think one of the Nords is that guy?
Oh, no,
right.
100%. No, 100%. Because he's got to be there. We've got a little intel. He's got to be there. And they are all former sexual predators who are on the rebound. They're on the Bible deal now. They're on the woe is me. I was a bad person. I'm changed. And we've done that a couple of times in the show. This is the first time we did it, but I remember with Adam Arkin's character coming up when we bust into the party. That house in the party, and they're all sipping tea and eating little sandwiches.
It did lead to one of the best lines that I think we've ever had on the show, where Clay says, "My transgressions are all I have left," which is such a fucking great line.
No, beautiful line.
It says, "Father, and then everybody's singing "Kumbaya" as they walk away.
Yeah.
Which again was, Sons at its finest, us hamming it up and
Jackling out, man.
Yeah, and it's kind of what made this show the show. That's when the Jackals we were forming, that's when everything was everybody was trying to find their moments and stuff. So then we see Tara laying the groundwork on Carnes. She's obviously upset about him. This is when she's telling, what you said before. She's telling him about
telling
restraining
Hale,
order.
Restraining order work here in Illinois. Doesn't work here. Yeah.
Yeah, she's super nervous, right? Okay. So in that same breath, now we're going to see Gemma's coming in. Gemma's going to see Wendy with the flowers and all that. And we show her family really is. This was the big Gemma thing, right? We've talked about this a lot. Gemma was just family. You could say
Thank
nothing.
Thank you.
Right? That's it.
Gemma equals family.
That's it.
No more, no less. That's it.
That was her thing. No matter what, she would kill every single person, push everyone to the side. You're not going to mess with her family. You're not going to mess up her family. That was her thing. That's what she did.
Perfectly said. Perfectly said.
Obviously, that was the downfall of her, which we'll get to, but that was such a big part of this. So she has those scenes with Wendy. Again, a lot of hospital stuff is going on at the time.
And the subtle stuff in that scene, Theo, if I may, again with Drea, right? Like here's literally a day before that, Gemma's putting a needle in her, like she's trying to kill.
Well, Gemma didn't put it in her. She just
didn't put it in.
Her.
She left it for her. Of course, she didn't put it in, but you know what I meant. And all of a sudden, you've got first time back flowers, and then Drea's all I didn't say anything, didn't say anything, and Gemma's just so that's good. How's your tea? How you feel today? Here's some flowers. The nurse, it's just so matter of fact. And
then she says, you better get water for these flowers. We wouldn't want anything to die in here. She's
very,
that's
sarcastic,
why people love that
funny,
character.
Dark, real Gemma was so real. Oh, God.
And honestly, here's the thing about Gemma. I've come to the conclusion as we're watching these why people love her so much. She said whatever was on her mind. And I think that we as people wish we can do that. Gemma said whatever was on her mind at all times.
Boy, did she ever.
Didn't matter. Right, wrong, or indifferent.
Yeah.
Right, wrong, or indifferent. She never held anything back.
Never. No, that's exactly right.
That's a quality that most people, because we all feel things and we don't say things because we're bound by whatever. And she had a freedom to her that I think that's where the whole what would Gemma do things came from. She just was free in who she was.
That's correct. And I feel that Sutter in his writing with Gemma got to expound, certainly in these early episodes, the tone of truths and lies, family. Gemma broadcast it subtly and real, as you just said, in a lot of these early episodes. Like now we're at the point, I think, where she's talking to Karen, the mother, right?
The mother outside.
And I go, I don't know about you, when she goes, I don't know you and you don't know me, but I know about burning the truth.
Hiding the truth, burying the truth, yeah.
Not burning, burying the truth. That's a better word. It's like Gemma throws spaghetti against the fridge, and 99% of the time they stick. The spaghetti sticks to the fridge. Mm-hmm. Because what she says is so truthful to that mother at that time. She doesn't even know her. No. Knows of her. That woman met at the fair, and she certainly knows of Gemma Teller for sure. But Morrow Teller, whatever Gemma's last name is in this beautiful show.
Teller.
Both. So, honestly, I think Gemma was the sword carrier for a lot of these early moral compass things.
And what I wrote about that scene was, again, SOA deals with so many complex issues, which you touched on earlier in this conversation, is they just didn't shy away from it. Here she is, Gemma and this mother, and talking about she's going to be the girl. The mother doesn't want her to be the girl who's always known in the town as the person who was sexually assaulted by the clown at this carnival. And she says she's always going to be that girl in her own mind.
That's right.
And I'm like, man, I just don't even know, if a show like this could exist anymore. But man, he just went in on issues and things and got to the psychology of things that I was like, wow, we're talking about like a 13-year-old girl, and not just her assault. We're now talking about how the mother feels about it from an affluent, rich perspective of not wanting her daughter. And Gemma comes in from a totally different perspective of she's always going to feel that way.
And may I just add to this? You just said Gemma's insertion of that line is of course the mother has been thinking those things but won't say them or doesn't know how to say them. And Gemma's saying them for her.
Correct.
She's always going to be that girl. So but how does she deal with it from this moment on? This is going to be your challenge as a mother, her challenge in this absolutely stomach turning moment of this poor little girl. And in the storyline of Sons of Anarchy, these are the topics that Sutter never shied away from way before his time.
Never. And again, they got even more complex. So now she tells Jax, and I wasn't there for the big fight with the carnies because obviously Juice is passed out on drugs. I heard a lot about that.
I'm going to tell you the whole thing.
Okay, because I heard a lot about that fight.
All right.
That was iconic in the beginning of our first season.
It's our very first big one. And the music in the background again, and the crazy little music. And I want you to try and imagine it's the last scene of the night at the carnival. It's the last absolute. And we had, for whatever reason, a 4-hour break. A 4-hour, they were doing something else. Other actors, I'm not sure what, but us jackals had a 4-hour break, and it's 10 o'clock at night. Didn't film it till 2 in the morning. So some people slept, some people didn't sleep, some people did other things, some people slept, some people were not doing Yahtzee, okay?
Right.
And it was time to do the fight, and we had early days. This is where Tommy broke the guy's nose. Yeah. But Tommy said right away, because it was going to be, okay, and then you cross, then you dick, and he goes, no. What I'm doing is I'm running right for this guy. I'm going to headbutt him because that's what Scottish people do. Oof. He's out, and I keep going. Oof. That's what he did. Oof. And Tommy come in a little too close. Smackaroo. Stunt guy goes down. We thought it was the greatest acting we've ever seen. Nose was a tad broken.
Broke his nose.
Kim Coates does his thing as Tig, but it was written in the script, bites his ear off.
Yeah.
That was Tig's first of many biting the ear off.
Or getting bit.
Or getting bit, or getting bit in the ass. Anyway, Tig, I said to Sutter, I don't know, like after the second or third ear bite, I'm going, what the fuck is that? He goes, just go with it. And I did. I just started, it's the ear biting scene for Kim. Here we go. So that scene was the first. Can we get through? What else did you hear about that scene? Anything that I've left out?
No. I just, again, that was our first big fighting scene. We had a few throughout the seasons, like these group fights or gang fights, whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
There would be a lot of people. And those are always very complicated because, it's hard enough doing stunts for 2 people. It's even harder when you're doing it for 50 people or 20 people or, 10. And especially, in the beginning, because it was just tough. So I wasn't there. And I remember, coming in the next day or whatever, and they're like, oh, it was chaos. This person got hit with this person tore their shoulder. This person fell.
Hurt their knee.
Yeah. Everybody was a mess. And remember, this was when we were proving that Halfsack was the character was a great boxer. So he had to do all these boxing moves.
Oh, I forgot that.
People. Yep.
I forgot that. He was a boxer. People. That's right.
He was a boxer in the army or whatever. Chibs is headbutting. That's when Bobby was like the Three Stooges, where it was like, woo, woo. It was like,
over here. Boom.
Over here. And it was just all this kind of stuff. So those are always a shit show. And I think that was the first chapter in the shit show of fighting.
Yeah.
Okay. So now we go to the clown. I have a question about this carny clown. What were all the marks on his chest?
We can think they were nailed.
Significance?
We can think that he's either a cutter or people were scratching him, scratching when trying to fight him off, fend him off. I don't want to get too deeply into the psychology of that, but I think that's what it probably is.
I was just curious because I know when they lifted his shirt, there was a moment where everybody paused, and I didn't know if I missed something. I was like, what?
I truly think that that's just a reaction that someone would have because he's done it so many times of being fought off or battled off with nails.
Okay. So now this is a pretty fucking tense scene. This is before
I couldn't believe we were doing it. I couldn't believe we were doing it.
This is before we're burning people's backs, before the stuff with Gemma, before all the horribleness that goes on that we've done. Here we are, episode 3, and we're cutting someone's nuts off. And I literally was like my stomach turned inside out because I didn't remember the scene. I remember I wasn't sure if Oswald did it. I was like, did he do it? And I'm watching it thinking he's going to do it. And you obviously knew, 'cause I wasn't there.
I remembered the whole scene, but I'd never seen it before. And I got to tell you something, that look that Johnny Lewis gave to Clay as he's doing it after Osborne couldn't do it, didn't have the strength, didn't have the whatever that is, to man up to do it. And then when Clay takes over and what he's doing and what he's saying, and for Jax to figure out what Perlman's saying to Oswald, and then to see Johnny Lewis turn around and grab because he's only got one nut, just the feeling that he was going through before Clay did it was all palpable, man. I remember that whole scene came back to me. And of course, the guy playing the clown, he wasn't allowed to say anything. There was going to be no dialogue, but we wanted to make sure that people knew he was really gagged under that bit of mask that we had, like really gagged. So we had to do different variations of screaming or whatever that up and then down. And he did it for an hour and a half, man. It was like,
oh man, okay. It was such a tense scene, and it was so tense, and it was so great to watch, and it just so much tension, and really was everything that I that was like, again, here we are, episode 3. Let's tell people what this show is. So again, Clay and Jax, now they're having this disagreement. Clay's always looking out for the club. We get the John Teller voiceover again. I was saying something about that voiceover in my head last night. They really gave that guy the most generic dialect ever. Like, he's just it's almost like a book on tape. It was very like matter of fact and very like, my son, there was no like, it wasn't like you or I talking or like, or Clay, the voice.
Well, this is what they wanted to do. And whether it worked 100% or 50% or 80%, but what they wanted to do was to not have it sound like a conversation, like dad was having a conversation with his son. Like you and I right now are having a conversation. So we're going to talk as they didn't want that. They wanted it absolute, like Jax was just reading.
Got it.
But they wanted to put a voice to what he was reading. So they wanted no inflection. It was like he was reading a book. That's it. So there was no color. There was no anything. That's what they were trying to do, Theo. So whether that really worked, it didn't.
Yeah, no, it did. I just remember it's always so jarring when it comes on because it's so different than what we're seeing, which is kind of a good thing. It takes you into a different world of the voice, right?
Correct.
So then we get to Jay Carnes and Agent Cohn. He's piecing it all together. He's going through those old files. He sees that Tara was arrested with a guy named Jax Teller. She's in Charming, and he puts the Jax Tara thing together, and he's coming.
I just go, oh no, he's fucking coming to Charming.
That's right.
I mean, as an audience member, like you and I are now, watching these things as an audience member, even though we started the show, it's killing me. Like, these are the things that on a Wednesday morning around the water cooler, you mentioned so beautifully an hour ago, that's what people talked about.
Yeah.
Who's this guy? Oh no. What's he done to her?
This isn't going to be good.
This isn't going to be good. Yeah. No.
And then we get to one of the most iconic pictures that I've signed 1,000,000 times. That will stay with me till the day I die, is Juice in the diaper with the sign stapled to his chest. Hey, idiot, wake up. Hale is kicking him.
If you don't remember the scene, I'm going to punch you in the face
Let me tell you about this scene.
Tell everybody, because it's one of my favorite scenes of all 7 years for sure.
Well, let me tell you, first of all, this is the 3rd episode. We have not aired. We are not on the air yet.
No.
No one knows the show.
No.
We are aliens to the world, meaning like they don't know who we are. They don't know me. I've been in nothing before this, even though I was on 50 TV shows. Unless you watched Malcolm in the Middle or Grey's Anatomy, you didn't, and knew the guest stars on it. You didn't know who Theo Rossi was. You didn't know who Hale was. And we're in downtown LA.
Yeah.
And again, I'm a guest star. I'm not the overbearing force I am now on sets. I don't know anything. So they have me in this diaper. It's 2009 or whatever it is. 2008. And I'm standing in the middle of the street with a diaper on and combat boots and a sign on my chest waiting to film. And it's just me and Hale, me and Taylor. No one knows who we are.
No.
People are walking by downtown and going, "What are you guys filming?" And I'm like, and they're looking at me in the diaper. Now, the reason I say I didn't ask for a robe, I didn't know. I was just sitting there with my shirt off and this diaper on. They go, "What are you filming?" And I said, "Oh, it's a TV show. What's it about?" Like, and I said, it's a motorcycle. And they're like, "Oh, like, good luck with that show. Here you are in a diaper. Good luck."
And army boots and nothing else.
Good luck, buddy. This one looks like a winner. That's what they're thinking. Like, I have tattoos on my head. I have the short mohawk. I have the diaper on. I'm covered in dirt. I have the sign. I have the thing. And what I wanted them to do to make it realistic for me was I wanted this double stick to almost like rip my skin.
And it did. There was blood there. Like, holy shit, Theo. I was so impressed. Oh my God, I was impressed.
So I wanted it to be as real as possible, to a point where I was like, "Could you really staple it in?" And they were like, I don't think so. I said, "But could you maybe like a pin or something?" Like, I wanted to feel when I rip it off, like I want to feel it. Because I always do shit like that. You know that, the old rock in the shoe and the thing we talk about. But I wanted to feel it. And again, I'm a guest star. I'm trying. I'm really trying here. But it was me and Hale, just two guest stars on this TV show that we had no idea if anybody would ever see. And I look like a fucking maniac in the middle of downtown LA. And we shoot the scene, and I'm just like, I'm thinking at that moment, what did I sign up for? What is happening here? What is this? We shoot the scene, and it comes to be known as like, I mean, I can't tell you how many people talk about that scene.
No, it's iconic.
And I didn't know my ass from my elbow at that moment.
I mean, again, I think that we are all, oh, look, what can you say now? What can you not say? What, and we're all getting better and more understanding of the world and what color we all are. And we're all one. But to say on a sign in 2008, "Slightly retarded child, please adopt me."
It's unbelievable.
I'm still laughing. No, I'm still laughing because it was just perfect for what you were doing and what we did to you.
People made action figures with that. When we were in Germany, there was a guy selling action figures of Juice, like in that outfit and in that costume with the cardboard. And
you've made it. You made it.
I mean, really. And again, remember, 3rd episode in. This isn't like way in. This is early, and that's why the episode we've already done. You and I did Patch Over, where the crane. This is all early stuff. And it's some of the most iconic things, and it's early. We don't even know who we are.
No. Just getting to know each other and characters.
I think that's why you and I, as not just Kim and Theo, but Tig and Juice, have such nostalgia for that early stuff, because it was like we were just trying stuff. You talk about spaghetti against the fridge. We were just trying stuff, and we were like, let's see how this lands. And man, did it ever. So that scene.
How did Sutter and Wendy O'Brien and John Landgraf and cast the people he did, the women and the guys, and we've talked about the Patch Over, the 4th episode, you and me, the dogs and the crank and the ad-libbing and here's my balls and we're going to be friends forever. That funny. And we were all funny,
iconic, weird. And then again, listen, I mean, that ends with them, now we're seeing this guy's balls get mailed to Oswald.
Unreal.
Which is unreal. And then the episode ends, and again, we know we're in for a ride. So here's what we're going to do before we wrap up Fun Town on this wacky Wednesday.
Wacky Wednesday, baby.
That's what we're calling it.
ReaperReviews, Wacky Wednesday.
Yeah. We can't think of anything else for the Wednesday, like wheels up like Sons, wheels up. Okay.
Yeah.
We'll come up with a new one every week. We're going to answer two questions.
Go for it.
And then we're going to save more for last week. Okay. I'm looking at a few. I have to pee so bad, so we're just going to
we're almost done.
Come on,
we can do it.
I mean,
let's get through it.
I'm getting a stomach ache.
We're well over an hour and 20 minutes. We did really well on this one. Let's go.
I think so too. Okay. What was the most bold move your character made? I know my thought is Tig kissing Gemma and Juice killing the prospect to protect his identity, but I would love to hear from you guys. What is the most bold move your character has made? That question came in from, don't know who. Oh, wait a second. Is that who I think it is?
Who is it?
It might be from Tracy. Wednesday. It might be. It says Tracy the artist. I wonder if that's from Tracy, our makeup artist. It might be.
Might be.
Tracy the artist. Okay. What was the most bold move your character made? As Tig, not Kim.
I had so many as Tig. The one that hurt me the most at the time, certainly, was ripping my patch off. When in season 4, which we're going to get to 4 months from now, 3 months from now, if we're so lucky, there was a scene where Clay abuses Gemma. And I had it. Tig had it. When you talk about a bold move and you go with your own knife and cut off Sergeant at Arms and you rip it off and you hand it to Clay and you say to him, I'm done because of you. I'm done because of your actions. That to me, I remember doing that. I hated doing it, but I loved doing it to try and teach something to Clay. And my caring for Gemma. We all cared for Gemma. We all loved Gemma. But Tig had a special little deal with Gemma, and that was too much for him. So that was very bold for me. That's mine. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think for Juice, I mean, I think they nailed it on the head. It was kind of the start of the spiral. I think the most bold move, but to get past the spiral, I think the most bold move for Juice, and I'm talking bold, was when he didn't care anymore. At the end, when he just kind of didn't care, when he said, Gemma she has all the answers to all the questions. Like when he literally didn't care, when he flipped that switch.
Yeah, that was it.
And he didn't care, and he wasn't caring what anybody thought. And he knew his life was over, and he was in jail, and you couldn't hurt him. Nobody can come in and do anything to him. It was really fun to play because it was so different from who Juice was, this sensitive. When he lost all hope after the stuff with Tully, I thought it was so bold because that's when, after his meeting with Jax, which we'll get to, that prison scene, he didn't care anymore about anything. And the boldness to just stop caring was really interesting for me to play because I only got to play it for like a few episodes at the end of this 7-8 year run. I got to play this character that just didn't care about anything. And almost like we talked about Gemma in the beginning of this, said whatever they wanted, didn't care. I got to do that for a few episodes with Juice.
How that's like a release, man, for Juice.
Yeah.
What a release. And the one thing that you always did as that character was care.
Yeah.
He wanted to fit in. Juice wanted to fit in. He wanted a family. He had a family. Sure, he made some mistakes he wishes he could take back, but you can never take anything back. And it just compounded things. And Juice was always, for me, a pure at heart character.
Yeah.
Pure at heart.
And then lost it.
And then just completely lost the will to continue on the way he was.
Yeah, and there was that big scene with him and Gemma, not Gemma, him and Unser and the other cop who came on later in the years. I'm going to forget her name, but I had that big scene with them, and that's when he was saying...
Oh, listen, we'll get into all that.
Yeah, we'll get into it, but that's season 7, and the point is he just didn't care anymore, and it was really fun to explore that part of him, so I think that was the most bold move. There it is, Funtown. Whoa, Kim, I lost you. Oh.
You know what? Low battery. I gotta go charge this sucker.
You gotta go.
Right now.
I gotta go because I gotta run to the bathroom. I love you too. Funtown. Do it. I'm gonna shut this recording. Hey,
love you, buddy.
Love you all.
Next week.
Go subscribe.
Bye, fans. Bye-bye.